Okay, we're looking at the ninth in our series of Getting Back this autumn, focusing on analytics, trying to work from simple analysis up to some really quite sophisticated ideas. For more details, there is a paper in the pipeline, and I'd like to acknowledge my co-authors, Rob McCready, Martin Shepherd, and Tommaso Turci. What you do with the data depends upon the timescale over which you're reviewing it. Weekly, you want up-to-date information to know how the module's going, to fix things that are going wrong, and to make things go better. Annually, you want to know how you've done, you want to know really how you've done, and you want to be able to make sound suggestions for the following year. And strategically, you want to know over a period of maybe several years how different bits of the module are going and about how you're delivering really top-class education or otherwise. Not everybody can do the same or wants to achieve the same. So I've got a blue group here that is good with teaching, but is a little bit on the back foot when it comes to computing and numbers. A yellow group that loves teaching and loves numbers. A grey group that I would tend to identify with more, that wants to work with people who've got better skills than they have themselves and a wider range of skills. And finally, a red group here that is into computer wizardry and wants to turn life into a giant algorithm. To the top three, I would say look for the obvious trends. To the blue group, don't be intimidated. The people that are doing well are fairly easy to spot. The people who aren't are fairly easy to spot, but see what the data says to you at the year end. If you're good at data and collecting it and analyzing it, just make sure that you're not being led astray by the bonanza of data that is all around you. If you're in the gray group, I love groups because I think they do stuff much better. I think that they're great for group teaching. I think group assessment is great, and group evaluation afterwards is very powerful. To the red group, my only advice is please don't. Wherever you can, the data talks loudest when it's in graphs and in color. So try and make that happen. On the left, we've got a simple example. Simply draw a graph of performance against the number of students. And you may discover that these graphs are a lot more wobbly than you expected, and that in fact there isn't a single group, a normalized bell curve if you like, that you're expecting, but there is some sort of evidence of maybe three, maybe more groups that are all sort of making their way through the module in different ways. On the right is quite a sophisticated idea. Can you work out what the correlations are between different elements of your course? If we're dealing with the model that we've used here, where there's red stuff that you do on your own, green stuff that you discuss in groups, and blue stuff where you're stretchingly assessed, then what are the correlations between those? If somebody does really well on the red stuff, what is the likelihood that they'll also engage with the green stuff? Very interestingly, what is the possibility that their grades will do better if they engage better? And which of these give the best improvement in grade? And we've done a little bit of that, and there's stuff in the literature as well, particularly where people are analyzing very large cohorts of students. But you can do that. It's not that difficult to do it at a course level, provided you have the right expertise. And we found that early engagement did go with better grades. Some suggestions week to week. Nudge, I think, is the key word. Those that are disengaged, those that are highly engaged, without forgetting about those that are just quietly getting on with it. You might identify some gaps through the data, things that students don't know, areas where they're hitting problems. I've talked about the example of setting up a speed reading course at short notice. You've got the ability to get a hold of those things, identify the problem, and solve them quite quickly. At year end, you might want to get somebody in who's better at the maths than you are and perhaps helps you to analyze the data in a bit more detail and to mix what you've gathered with the figures that the university has provided you with. Longer term, you're interested in trends. Over many years, are standards consistent? Is there evidence that I'm getting better at delivering the module, that the module is satisfying more? What is the long-term trends? But also, as I've already indicated, the more data you have, the more you can get to grips with which part of the course are really delivering the best education. Things we learned is that it really helps if you know what you want to do from the start. Working out and adding data later is difficult. Data cleansing can take ages. Try to choose data that aligns with the intent that you have in setting up the module, but you may still have to move on the fly and change your data sets a little bit. So once you've got reliable numbers, you can have a lot of fun. You can steer the quality of your teaching. Good numbers help to articulate your case in decisions that senior management make. You can do some simple analysis that takes you a long way, but good course designers working with good maths or computing people can get some really elegant stuff out of this. If you'd like to talk some more about this kind of stuff, then here are some of my contact details. I look forward to hearing from you.